How do we know if we're running too much ink? This sheet looks good, but watch this. If you get significant smear when the sheet is lightly brushed like this, there's a good chance of spoiling the job by set-off, which really is ink transfer from the top side of a sheet to the underside of the one above it. Should we increase spray? No. This will leave deposits on the blanket in subsequent runs. You'll spend all day washing the blanket. The problem is too much ink. The principle of ink and water in balance means just that, balance. Remember, if you have a densitometer, use it. Marking can be caused by the sheet brushing over parts of the press, creating a smear on the surface. One source of marking can be the star wheels. Here we see the effect. To rectify this, simply slide them away from the problem area, preferably to a non-image area. Another area of marking is found when wet sheets are backed up too early. Little can be done about this underside marking, except to ensure that the underside is dry enough to back up. While we're dealing with the printed underside, have a look at this mottle. Now have a look at the impression cylinder. The wet print on the underside is transferring under impression to the impression cylinder itself. When the matted image on the impression cylinder is thick enough, the plucking action will cause mottle on the underside of the printed sheet. Next we have picking, where the ink film picks the paper surface off instead of the paper surface picking the ink off, usually caused by ink tacking up on the blanket. This is its effect. If your pressures are too hard, then you'll get slurring or squash between print transfers. It should be stressed that pressure and packings need only be sufficient for good print transfer. Another cause is incorrect plate roller settings. If set too light or too hard, then the rollers tend to skid rather than roll over the image. Doubling is similar, except that a double image can be seen. What's causing it? Well, a loose blanket might be the reason. That's easily fixed. Mind you, if it was that loose, you haven't been checking blanket tension as often as you should. Another cause might be a loose or bulging plate, resulting in plate movement under impression. This can also cause cracking of the plate. Sheets that are not flat can be another cause of doubling, as the distorted sheet brushes the blanket image again as it comes out of the impression nip. This brings us to the way paper can cause problems. As we all know, paper has moisture content. This moisture remains fairly stable inside a stack of paper. However, humidity changes affect the edges of the stack. When humidity is high, moisture is absorbed, the edges swell and look like this. Alternatively, when air is dry, moisture is released. Then the edges tighten, causing paper to curl in the line of least resistance upwards. In either condition, problems occur. Not only doubling, but creasing, changing of print size on the sheet, faulty feeding and misregister. What can we do? With curly or wavy edges, moisture equilibrium must be regained in the sheets. Place them in small bundles so that moisture content is the same at the center of the sheet as it is at the edges. Sheets will then become flat. If you need paper that's dimensionally stable, the solution is more expensive. You need a press room that's at constant humidity level. The only way to achieve this is by air conditioning. So this job is urgent. Supposed to be delivered 2 hours ago, and it's still wet. Don't reach for the dryers. That's the last thing you want. Dryers love water. You'll open the path for even more moisture in the ink. A couple of things may be the cause. Maybe too much moisture has emulsified the ink, or perhaps your acid content is too high in the fountain solution. Check it. In either case, the ink structure is being broken down. If these things check out okay, then look for the hidden possibility of too much acid in the paper itself. As we said earlier, these are some of the major problems, not all of them. Stick to the rules, and you won't invite other problems to your printing party.